change, constant innovation. The life of free is actually, it's fantastic for young business leaders because we get lost in running our businesses. So we forget to change and to adapt. And this is a good intervention.
So what are you changing and adapting in your business?
So in the construction industry, we try and stay ahead of the pack in terms of the business practices, quality standards, and global best practice is actually what we try and adhere to, which is sometimes challenging in East Africa and in Tanzania in particular. So we keep adapting to what the world requires us to do, and we keep sort of pushing the envelope in service delivery and quality to our clients.
ISO accredited construction company in Tanzania. What does that mean?
It's a fantastic question. I must say I've been asked that question 100 times. And now with better results than before, because initially when we started on the ISO drive, 2012, most of the board was against it. Most of my colleagues were against it, because the value for ISO was something that wasn't very well known in Tanzania. What I think it's done very effectively for us, though, is it's brought a certain quality standard in the business that we wouldn't have had otherwise. And that compliance and that global standards of transparency, ethics, efficiency in the business is something we would have never had if it wasn't for ISO.
Tell us a little bit more about the construction sector in Tanzania. Is it growing?
Yes, so I think we're doing some of the largest infrastructure projects that we've ever done. It would be nice to see a little bit more participation of the local construction sector, because it's dominated by foreign contractors. So while we try and change that, it's slightly limited how much we are, as Tanzanians, a part of that growth, but there is substantial growth in the sector. Some of the infrastructure projects that we're doing in transport, power generation, water distribution are the largest projects that have ever been done in Tanzania.
What's the value of these projects, if you could?
I think the value of registered projects in 2017 was around the $4.5 billion mark. Now, of course, we've had some big ticket projects come in, each one over $1 billion in the last 2 years. So we're expecting those values to keep going up.
There's also the Baga Moya port, which is supposed to be the biggest port in Africa, $10 billion as investment. Are you part of it at all?
Not yet. We hope to be when it does get to tender award stage, because the process has been stalled for quite a while. So we're looking forward to it, but there's many more lower hanging sort of fruit projects that are in the pipeline. So the Uganda-Tanzania pipeline is one of them that we're very excited about. And there's a lot of opportunity in the region. Tanzania obviously is our head office, but we work in Uganda, Rwanda, Kenya. So we're looking at a lot of opportunity in the region.
East African integration, at least, has been lauded as one of the most efficient in Africa. Do you find that in the construction industry you share some of that?
Yes, I would say so. I mean, the East African move for us as a Tanzanian company to get into Uganda, Rwanda, Kenya is relatively easy. We speak the same language. We're with the same people, more or less. So definitely EAC integration has been good in terms of ease of doing business. It's helped a lot, helps with work permits, transferring some equipment, people, so it's very helpful.
Now, Tanzania as a whole is growing at 6-7% GDP every year. Is the construction industry growing at a similar rate?
Yes, the industry as a whole definitely growing at least 6 to 7%, perhaps more. Like I said earlier, we would like a lot more of that revenue to come to Tanzanian contractors, but that is a work in progress. And I think the current administration is in favor of making sure that Tanzanians get more. So we should be able to get our requirements across.
Other than the big ticket industrial scale construction projects, what are the smaller ones where you can actually realize real value for your investors and your board?
So low cost housing is something that is just starting to take off in a big way in Tanzania. Remember, we're 55 million people, and there's a shortage as it stands in Dar es Salaam itself of over 300,000 units, residential only, and this is only Dar es Salaam, the capital city. So there is huge scope for going into the mid and low end housing market, and that's something that's just starting to pick up. So whereas the value per transaction may be slightly lower than some of the larger infrastructure projects, the margins are fantastic. And the scalability of that sector is fabulous.
Anything else?
No, I would think that's the segment to look at if one is looking at investing in the construction sector in Tanzania. And that's a sector that we as a company are also very keen on. We have extensive experience with that sector, and we're very keen on that. Yeah.